Example 2, graph conic sections in general form. So we're going to graph and determine the directrix and focus on this problem. So this is in general form, which means we need to complete the square. Now you could come over here to the calculator and do everything from over here. You could go to graphs, go menu, graph entry, relation, and go from here and type in 7x squared minus 28x minus 56y equals 140. And we can get the whole parabola here. Now we know it's a parabola, and you could solve the directrix and the focus. You could go to menu, analyze graphs, and choose analyze conics, and choose the values that you need. So like in this case, we would need directrix. You highlight the shape, and as soon as you highlight the shape, there's your directrix. We'd also need the focus. So I'd go back to menu, analyze graph, analyze conic. Now I would choose number 3, and there's the focus right there. So we see the values. And you can calculate everything from this. I'll come back to this here in a little bit, but I want to show you the algebra now. Because you could do, the P is what finds the distance from the vertex here, or the center of the parabola, to the directrix, or the distance from the center of the parabola to the focus. So since this is a -1 on the y, and this y is -5, I can tell you that these are a total of 4 units apart, which means that center point is 2 units away. If you're not sure, again, go back to menu, analyze graph, analyze conics. That's called a vertex on a parabola. So when you click that, you see they're 2 units away. So our P is 2 for solving, but we'll come back to that once I complete the square. So I'm going to follow 3 steps. The first step was put pairs on the left, singles on the right. So this right here, -56y, is a single. I'm going to move it to the right. So I'd have 7x squared minus 28x. I'm going to leave the blank, equals, and I'll put the 56y first. I'm making it positive, because I'm adding it to the other side, plus the 140. Next step is, if there is a number in front of the squared term, you need to factor it out. And so I'm going to factor out the 7. So 28 divided by 7 is 4. I'll keep the negative here. And so I'll have 56y plus 140. And now I'm going to have 7 times whatever this blank value is. So I'm going to put 7 times, and I'll put a blank there. Okay, to solve it, what we do to complete the square, you take your b, you divide it by 2. So -4 divided by 2 is -2, and then you square that value. -2 times -2 is +4. So 7 times +4 would be 28. That's what's going to end up being added over here. Now, technically speaking, I'm adding 28 on the left, so I need to add 28 on the right. Now this will simplify. You could do X method if you wanted to. This right here, this trinomial, if you put 4 on top, -4 down below, and said what are factors of 4 that add up to -4? It's -2 and -2, which means it's x minus 2 times x minus 2, or said another way, it's x minus 2 quantity squared. That number right there should always be that number. They're the same. That's the shortcut. So rather than doing X method in the future, you can just take that, plug it in right there. Now I come over here, and I'm going to simplify this. I have 140 plus 28, which means I have 168. And now I'm going to factor out the 56. So if I factor out the 56, so I'd have 56y plus 168. Now I'm going to factor out the 56, which goes into 168 3 times. So I now have this. My last step is I'm going to get rid of the 7 on the left side. So I'll divide both sides by 7 like this. And so I end up with x minus 2 quantity squared equals, that's 8 y plus 3. Now I have it in standard form. We can locate the center is left 2 units. So it's left, oh, I'm sorry, that's a -2, it lies. So it's right 2 units, and then it's down 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my center. So my center, or my vertex here, is 2 to the right, 3 down. So that's what that is right there. As we see it over here, 2, -3. If I wanted to find my focus, 4p is 8. Since 4p equals 8, and that's all in the formula chart if you want to look at it, then p would equal 2 when you divide. So the focus is 2 units, and since it's next to the y, I'll go 2 units up. That's my focus. So So that means my focus is 2, -1, which that's what we wanted there, focus. And I should label this up here. The focus is letter P. Directrix is also P units away. Now, since P is 2, it's 2 units this way for the focus. It's positive since that's positive. But the other way gives you your directrix. So if I go down 2 units, this would be my directrix there. And it's a line, so I'm actually going to use my tool here to make it a prettier line. Like that. That's my directrix. And so that's crossing the Y value at -5. Though it's crossing the y-axis. Let me label it like that. And so that's my directrix. So finally, if you want to graph accurately, the width of the parabola, there's a parabola going here, at the focus is always 4 times the value. It's this number. It's 8. That's the width. So if I went 4 to the left, I need to go through this point and 1, 2, 3, 4, this point when I graph this. And so this parabola would go like that, and the same over here. Like that. So now I have it graphed, and I found the 2 values that it wanted me to find. Again, all this was on the graph given over here. You could write your equation from this picture if you went back and forth. The way you do it is you take this, you'd say the inside lies, so that means it's going to be x minus 2 and y plus 3. Since the parabola is going up, you would choose the vertical parabola. So if you look on here, the parabola, this vertical is the one that has 4p next to y. So it's this format. The next thing you would do is you go in there and you count how far apart are these 2 units, or these 2 values, and they're 2 units apart. So that means P is 2, and so 4P would be 4 times 2, which is 8. That's how you would write it going backwards if you started with the graph.